in the world does a bulimic, alcoholic woman end up publishing a book about style and manners?
You guys, I'm here with Laura Martella.
Author Laura Martella is here.
Meet Gentleman Norman and Laura Martella.
And become a leading clean food expert, teaching people to change their lives through the food they eat. My answer?
Still. You see me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it.
It's the power of God's grace.
The wrong guy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Martella, and thank you for tuning in to my podcast. And welcome to my home. This is actually very special to me to be able to talk to you from my house. Let's just take an exhale and just be. Let's be real. This is Gentleman Norman. And so my producer, Wayne, and I decided, let's just see how it goes. He's got a panting issue. He's 10 years old, and he's got a collapsed trachea, but he is the love of my life. So it feels so good to have him here. I feel like the first episode of the Laura Martella Show should be about letting you know who I am, what I'm about, and where we're going to go with this and how this started. How this podcast came to be is recently I've been hosting a radio show on all things health, hope, and gratitude. And it was such a beautiful experience. But many of you told me you missed it and you wanted to know where you could hear it. And radio, once it airs, it's gone. And I want to be able to help as many people as possible and encourage as many people as possible and give, of course, God all the glory for everything. So this is why we decided to do this podcast. I know that you heard in the opening, how in the world does an alcoholic, bulimic woman end up publishing a book about style and manners and become a clean food expert? How in the world does that happen? And my only answer, and the only answer, is it's the power of God's grace. It really is. So you all, professionally, I am a clean food expert and an accountability coach. I've had several passion projects in my life that led me to being a clean food expert and being an accountability coach. But I do believe with all my heart, God's purpose for my life is to tell the truth about me. And hopefully it will benefit someone else. So my purpose is I will share my struggles, share my successes, keep it real, y'all. I prayed this morning before this first show, and I did every week before my radio show. God, remove ego. Help me remember this is about encouraging someone. This is about saying, hold on. Even though our circumstances are dire in whatever we're facing in life, God is working for us. We don't know what He's doing behind the scenes, and all we have is today. But I am here to tell you, if you are still breathing, there is hope. So a little bit about my alcoholism and my bulimia. First of all, I grew up in Georgia, in Atlanta. I became a daily drinker at the age of 18. That was the legal drinking age back in the 80s. And I did not have one day sober until the age of 35 when I finally got sober. I'm 23 years sober now. That makes me 58 years old. And I am so grateful for God not letting me die when I wanted to die. I'm not going to go through all the drama, but it's important for you to know this about me. The only thing I did right was I kept trying. So it took me 5 years in and out of recovery programs, 6 rehabs, 18 medical detoxes. Y'all, I could not get sober. I could not get drunk. And literally, I just wouldn't die. And I wanted to die because I was destroying my mom and dad's heart. I'm their only child. They're in heaven now. They thought they were going to bury their only child. And I was, breaking my husband's heart. I'd been given every opportunity, been sent to the best places to get sober. And I could not drink. And I hated myself. And I tried to kill myself by drinking myself to death. And I kept waking up and I just wouldn't die. I don't know. And God moved on that last morning I woke up. I was willing to go to treatment one more time. So I'm saying to you, if you are still breathing, there's hope. We always have hope. So if you hear nothing else that I say, please, I'm here to give you some hope. And it doesn't matter. One of the struggles, I really want to tell you about me and God. So every rehab I went to actually sent me to 12-step meetings. And y'all, they kept talking about God. And I knew I was screwed when I kept hearing the God thing, because I did not believe that God would help me. I thought he was up there in the sky keeping score. I already knew. I had so much guilt and shame for all the lies and for all the things I did that I didn't think he would help me. And what I've come to believe and know is that God loves me and he loves you. And when we ask for forgiveness, he will forgive us. But I didn't know that. And I am a Christian now. I'm a new Christian. Y'all, I like the Bible and I am connecting with the Bible now. And I love to include Bible verses in my speaking engagements. But make sure that you know this. I am not preaching. I'm learning. And it is frustrating when you perhaps consider yourself a Christian, but maybe you don't really know what that means, or maybe you really aren't walking with Jesus, or maybe you're walking with Jesus and you still can't connect with the Bible. I get it. That was my experience. And so as a new Christian, the last thing I want to do is just recite some Bible verses that you may or may not understand and you may or may not connect with. So just know, within this little community that I hope to create, let's strengthen our faith together, and let's be honest and vulnerable and just get closer to Jesus. And I do, from connecting with the Bible now, I have peace that I have never experienced. And I have surrounded myself with Christian women that are pouring into me. And I, in turn, would like to pour into you. Can you hear Norman? Oh, Norman is by me and he's snoring. So sorry. So I want to go back for a second so you kind of understand my journey. Let me get a sip of coffee. It's black, by the way, as the clean food expert. I recently went on a black coffee rant, y'all. We do not need all that sugary, creamy stuff. It's not good for us. More on that later. So, when I finally got sober at the age of 35, I knew from all the rehabs and all the 12-step meetings that I needed a higher power. And I did believe in God when I finally got sober. And the reason I believe in God is it's a miracle that I don't drink. Y'all, there's no alcohol in a minibar or in a liquor store that I didn't love, that I didn't crave. And I do not think about alcohol anymore. That obsession, that what I now know, I believe was a demon, has been removed. It is a miracle, and miracles come from God. So for 20 years, I had a relationship with God, but I didn't know Jesus. And I made a decision in 2018. I'm going to believe that all the stuff in the Bible is true. The pastor at my church on Easter Sunday 2018 had such a message. I just decided all these Christians cannot be wrong. And what do I have to lose? And that's faith. We just believe what doesn't make sense. Even my pastor recently said, y'all, if you think about it too much, it'll make you jump off a building. And it will. And that's faith. I have faith. And through Jesus, I have peace. And when I pick up my Bible in the mornings, I know that the truth is in the Bible and I don't have to listen to this. Accountability. What is accountability? We hear that over and over. There are self-help books. There are shows. There's online programs. But at the end of the day, have they worked for you? I'm Laura Martella, and I am an accountability coach and a recovery coach. I've been through a lot in my life, as we all have. My journey is I'm 20 years sober, I'm in recovery from bulimia, and I learned a lot in these past 20 years. I understand all too well that feeling of overwhelm and not being able to get any traction, not being able to have one healthy day. I firmly believe if I can change, you can change, and I'm here to help. You don't need an addiction or a compulsive behavior to require a lifestyle change. I want to help you break the chains that you're living in, whether it's eating too much, drinking too much, whatever it is that you are doing that is self-destructive. I can help you break free. We're not talking about a quick fix. What I want to offer you is sustainable change. Let me assure you, You are worth it. If you're ready to take the first step, I look forward to our discovery call and changing your life together. Hi there, welcome back. I told you my relationship with alcohol and getting sober and how I developed a relationship with God, and then how I got saved in 2018. And I want to tell you a little bit about my eating disorder. Thank you, Jesus, that I have also been in recovery from bulimia for 23 years. And bulimia is basically, y'all, I was a food addict. I could not eat. Like the leftovers would just call me. And I grew up on fast food. Both my parents worked. I mean, y'all, this was in the 70s. My mom didn't know. None of us knew. Remember TV dinners and fast food and I'm telling you this because this is why I am so good. I know I am because it's my passion. This is why I'm so good, for lack of a better word, at coaching my clients who hire me as their clean food expert and an accountability coach. Listen to my food journey. So I know that I began medicating as a child with food. I would hide candy. I would come home from school, and both my parents worked, and I wasn't allowed to have people over, and I wasn't allowed to go outside. I was alone a lot, and I just entertained myself with food. Also, I come from a long line of wonderful country folks in Kentucky. And as a child in the summer, I had to go spend 3 months at a time on the farm with my grandparents and my cousins. And I was the youngest cousin, and they didn't want to play with me. So I would sit and watch TV with my granny, who would literally, those little Milky Ways and Snickers. She would eat one after the other while she watched the stories, the soap operas. And I did too. And that's just how I ate. And we would have biscuit and gravy eating contests, and I would win. As a little girl, I mean like 10, I ate 12 biscuits and gravy as a contest. And I know today I was doing it for attention. I was trying to fit in. So fast forward to my teenage years, my best friend, who's still my best friend today, best friend since third grade. In high school, she became anorexic and got a lot of attention and she's a beautiful girl, a beautiful woman. As a teenager, I felt like I was gaining a little bit of weight, and I also had a traumatic event in high school that I definitely will share with you at some other episode. But you can't eat the way I was eating. And I was interested in modeling. I had a couple of modeling gigs, and everyone said you need to lose weight. So I discovered binging and purging. And talk about shame. I felt like I couldn't even be anorexic right. I was still this food addict and I couldn't control myself. And so I would purge. And that is terrible, terrible for your health. It depletes your body of electrolytes and many other things, which actually bring on a natural craving. So it's a vicious cycle. So fast forward, the year 2000 that I go into that last rehab and I got sober, God removed the obsession for food from me. And in the literature of the 12-step program that I'm in, it says once the spiritual malady is overcome, the physical and mental work themselves out. Y'all, that is my story. I had this God-sized hole, and I was trying to fill it with everything. Alcohol, men. I thought, I've been married 3 times. I thought if I have my husband and I am a part of a loving family, it will fill this hole. If I was filling it with food, I was filling it with all kinds of outside stuff. And for you Christians who are listening, you know this better than I. And if you're a new Christian or you're not even sure, you know, the Bible talks about the world, being of this world. And I was so of this world, just seeking approval, seeking outside things to fill this God-sized hole. And I'm not doing that anymore. And it is a miracle. So how does this play into clean food? How did I become the clean food expert? Well, 12 years into my sobriety, I had published a book and I was on book tour for a couple of years and was getting publicity and doing book signings and living a sober life, Southern California lifestyle, thinking I'm healthy. And I began getting migraines and debilitating bloating. When I say debilitating, I mean literally, I could hardly get my dress zipped up for the book signings. And by the sheer grace of God, living in Southern California, I was at a functional medicine doctor's office. Functional medicine is a modality that medical doctors can practice, and it's looking for the root cause. They treat the cause, not the symptoms. You know, many doctors would have just given me a prescription for migraines and told me to take some Gas-X. I am forever grateful for this doctor. He said it looks like, or it sounds like, I possibly have food sensitivities. So we did a blood test. Sure enough, a long list of food sensitivities came back. And dairy, soy, eggs, numerous things. But one of the big ones was man-made chemicals, artificial sweeteners, artificial colorings, solvents, refined seed oils, preservatives in all the processed food I grew up on. And even though I thought I was eating healthy, chemicals, y'all, chemicals. I will tell you more after a break. I have a lot to say about food and chemicals. Years into my sobriety, I thought I was living a very healthy lifestyle, exercising and eating right, yet I was suffering from debilitating migraines and severe bloating. Thank God that I went to a functional medicine doctor who treats the whole body. It turns out I'm highly allergic to preservatives and other additives. I'm going to help you with the information overload today with what to eat, what not to eat. I can help you decipher food labels, all these marketing buzzwords that get you to buy the product. There are no quick fixes, no teas, powders, or shakes. It's hard work, but it's doable. What I am offering to you is a way to eat real food, whole food. This is not meal plans. This is not a restrictive calorie counting diet. I want you to eat. I want you to eat the right things. This is about non-toxic, elevated eating. Food is medicine. Welcome back. So I was in the functional medicine doctor's office and he suspected that I had food allergies, and he was correct. I walked out of that office wondering, what in the world am I going to eat? I was allergic to dairy, soy, eggs, whey. Those were the big ones. Nightshades, which is tomato, potato, eggplant, pepper. And then, as I said in the last segment, man-made chemicals. And man-made chemicals are in most of our foods. So after I got over the shock of, I was kind of pissed. I remember telling him, do you understand I don't drink? And now I can't have frozen yogurt. I mean, I really felt for about 24 hours a little hopeless. But then, I am resilient, and we all are, by the way. I thought, you know what, Laura? You got sober by following directions. You can do this. And I just was determined. I had great incentive. I do not want to have these migraines. So I made changes. Definitely, it's pretty easy to eliminate dairy and eggs. Soy is hidden in a lot of our foods. And I personally, it is my opinion that soy is not good for any of us. I know a lot of vegans get their protein from soy. And let me just say this. If you Google, you will definitely find the answer you're looking for. There's pro-soy and others saying soy is not good for you. Let me tell you about the food industry, y'all. The information and the studies that were done about soy were actually done by the soy industry. They were published by the soy industry. Welcome to our big food industry in the United States of America. All right, so I thought I was following my doctor's directions and eliminating things that I needed to eliminate. I kept getting sick. I kept getting migraines. When I say migraine, I mean a 2 or 3 day migraine where I literally just lie in my bed crying. And the bloating continued. Y'all, who has had bloating? I say this when at my speaking engagements. Who hasn't had bloat? And I think that is one of the worst words, bloat. Bloat. It sounds worse than it feels. It's awful. You don't want to function. You can't. You're lethargic. So anyway, I struggled. And I remember going back to my doctor and I said, I can tell you every single thing I am putting in my mouth. Why am I struggling? Wise doctor. He said, bring in your food that you're eating. Show me what you're eating. And we went through the ingredients. That was my moment. And I started learning how to decipher misleading food labels. We live in information overload. There was a video on Instagram about, it was so cute and funny. I love Instagram. I mean, I have my feed edited down to where it's animals, conservative issues, Jesus, and health and wellness. And this one guy did a video about trying to eat healthy in 2024 and all these different, eat oatmeal. Oh no, but don't eat oatmeal. Eat this. Oh no, don't eat this. We're living in an information overload. Side note, what works for me may not work for you. Everyone's body is different, and we have to slow down and be aware of what we're eating and all the ingredients in it so that we can see how it affects us. So take note of that. Just start becoming aware of what you're eating and notice how you feel. Okay, I went on a side note and now I forgot what I was going to talk about. What was I about to say? Something about food labels. Oh, so the information overload. But additionally, here's some facts. Our FDA allows over 1,100 chemicals in our foods that have already been banned in other countries. Okay, with that being said, as Americans, our taste buds have literally been hijacked by the food industry. We do not even know what real food tastes like because we're so used to all these chemicals that make foods taste better, that make them sweeter, the artificial coloring that makes them look like food. So we have got to take our taste buds back. We have got to get back to real food. When I completely eliminated chemicals, which was a long journey, I mean, it was a process to teach myself. When I eliminated these man-made chemicals, my skin, my body, and my brain transformed. I didn't know how bad I felt till I started feeling good. Do you think that could be happening to you? Accountability. What is accountability? We hear that over and over. There are self-help books, there are shows, there's online programs. But at the end of the day, have they worked for you? I'm Laura Martella, and I am an accountability coach and a recovery coach. I've been through a lot in my life, as we all have. My journey is I'm 20 years sober, I'm in recovery from bulimia, and I learned a lot in these past 20 years. I understand all too well that feeling of overwhelm and not being able to get any traction, not being able to have one healthy day. I firmly believe if I can change, you can change, and I'm here to help. You don't need an addiction or a compulsive behavior to require a lifestyle change. I want to help you break the chains that you're living in, whether it's eating too much, drinking too much, whatever it is that you are doing that is self-destructive. I can help you break free. We're not talking about a quick fix. What I want to offer you is sustainable change. Let me assure you, you are worth it. If you're ready to take the first step I look forward to our discovery call and changing your life together. Welcome back. I hope I didn't depress you talking about the food industry. I have answers, and it's not that complicated. The food industry is complicated, but eating doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's my job, is to help you learn how to be your own clean food expert. So I do want to read something to you because it's on my website, cleanfoodexpert.com. It's just better that I read this because it's just, when you're doing a website, you get it all condensed. Okay, here we go. No one wants to talk about why everyone feels awful, sad, and chronic disease is skyrocketing. A major reason is because of our food system and the environment we live in. This is a systemic issue that needs to be addressed, but you can't wait for policy changes to save you. You have to take control of your health, and you are worth it. The other major reason is because people have this mindset. But before I read this, it's really important. I just want to say something to you guys. The food industry and the diet industry would like us to believe that all we need to do is eat less and exercise more. That is like a little bit true. But all these chemicals really are the cause, and they don't want to take responsibility for it. But here is where we need to change our mindsets, and I can help you. Y'all, if I can change, you can change. You know my backstory now. We refuse to commit to exercise because it's hard. As Americans, we're literally taught to default to a pill for every ill without making lifestyle changes. Here's what I want to say to you. I am a big fan of functional medicine. Try to find a functional medicine doctor. I know a few locally that I know one I would recommend. If you go into your doctor's office and they just prescribe a pill instead of talking to you about your lifestyle, about your stress level, about your sleep, about the food you eat, and about exercise, if they don't ask you about that and they just give you a pill, here's some hard truth, and you may not like me for saying this, and that's fine. You've got a drug dealer, not a doctor. Our mindset is we use food for pure pleasure instead of for energy and health. We've got to start thinking of food as fuel. Our body needs fuel. So it's really about nourishing your body. You don't want to take in those empty calories, and not all calories are created equal. And I don't even like to use the word calories that often because, in my opinion, counting calories is so 1990. Y'all, we need to start eliminating chemicals, not calories. We opt for packaged goods instead of taking the time to make our own nutrient-dense foods. What does that mean? It means food prepping. Here's the thing about eating clean. You do not have to have cooking skills. It's food prepping. You don't need to buy. I was in Writing Books the other day, and I love that bookstore. I always go there and have my Americano from Jittery Joe's and sit and look at coffee table books. But I happened to look in the cookbook section. There are so many cookbooks about healthy and clean, and I looked at the recipes and they were overwhelming. Here's the deal with eating clean. You need high quality ingredients, like the best protein you can afford, olive oil, sea salt or Himalayan salt, pepper, lemon, fresh herbs. That's it. You don't need recipes when you're eating clean. You just need, like this says, carve out some time for food prepping. And I will help you with that. My clients, we are obsessively talking about what we're eating and how we're preparing it. Okay, we'll have a whole show on simple food prep. We think all these behaviors are acceptable because most people, live the same way. And I find that to be so true. Like, I am the weirdo at a lot of places. And I don't think anybody in their right mind would ever need to be as rigid as me. I believe in the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you eat the best you can, as clean as you can. And y'all, life happens. 20% of the time, just, either choose to treat yourself or just, you got to just grab something for you and your family. But I don't have that luxury because I am literally avoiding migraines. So people think I'm weird, but I think more and more people are catching on. But I don't care. I just don't want to suffer. And here's the last belief. We believe in order to get results, this is the last thing I say on the website. In order to get results you've never had, you have to do things you've never done. It's the truth. I'm not going to lie. It is overwhelming in the beginning, which is actually why I created my programs. When I walked out of that doctor's office all those years ago, I desperately needed a clean food expert / accountability coach to help me. All right. I think we're done I think you have a general idea of the importance of clean food. And I don't want to overwhelm you. We want to keep it as simple as possible. And remember, you know who I am and where I've been. If I can do this, you can do this. Years into my sobriety, I thought I was living a very healthy lifestyle, exercising and eating right, yet I was suffering from debilitating migraines and severe bloating. Thank God that I went to a functional medicine doctor who treats the whole body. It turns out I'm highly allergic to preservatives and other additives. I'm going to help you with the information overload today with what to eat, what not to eat. I can help you decipher food labels, all these marketing buzzwords that get you to buy the product. There are no quick fixes, no teas, powders, or shakes. It's hard work, but it's doable. What I am offering to you is a way to eat real food, whole food. This is not meal plans. This is not a restrictive calorie counting diet. I want you to eat. I want you to eat the right things. This is about non-toxic, elevated eating. Food is medicine. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to tell you my backstory, and you don't have to hear all the drama. every week. But like I said in the beginning, it is, I believe, God's purpose for my life is to tell the truth about me, and hopefully it will benefit someone else. So I think you've got the picture. I have had a long and painful food journey. Let me tell you, I never feel deprived. I enjoy food. Remember how I talked about how our taste buds have been hijacked by the food industry, and we have to recalibrate the relationship between our brain and our taste buds. In my program, the first 7 days, definitely a lot of hand holding. By the way, I do groups now. I'm offering groups here locally because I think it makes it more fun. It makes it more affordable. And it's an accountability group instead of just me and one person. I also do private ones for people that are, like to keep things private. I worked with high profile people in Los Angeles, and I've had to sign confidentiality agreements. So for people who like the group support, it's great. And for people who like to keep it private, totally get it. The first 7 days, I call it my palate detox. We are recalibrating that relationship. You will find that you're going to crave all this crap that you've been eating. And the big food industry has food scientists that literally, I got to think of another word other than literally. What's another one, Lane? I know I say it a lot because I'm so passionate about it. Literally, their job is to create a chemical that is going to make you crave more, to buy more of the product. Food industry is about the bottom line. Remember that, okay? So you're going to have cravings the first week. By day 5 or 7, the cravings subside and you actually start to enjoy the flavor of real food. I promise you, that was my experience. I had that experience with coffee. So, I was in my 6th rehab, was a 9-month program. I had decaf coffee in a styrofoam cup for 9 months. And when I got out of rehab, my coffee ritual was everything. And I put creamer, and I had like this beautiful creamer that I loved, just the ritual of pouring it into my coffee. And I used Splenda or Sweet and Low, thinking that was healthy. By the way, it is not. And when I found out I have to eliminate these chemicals, I had to learn to drink black coffee. It took about 5 days until I started loving black coffee. So that's my black coffee rant. More on that. That's a whole show. I want to just share something with you on foods. I have this list. There's 58 ingredients to avoid. These are allowed in our foods. I also have a food additive glossary that, we shouldn't have to have this, right? But we have to be our own advocate. So rather than doing what I did in the beginning and taking all this time to research all these ingredients, you can just trust me, your clean food expert, advocate, accountability coach. Trust me. You want to eat fewer ingredients. You want to carve out time 2 to 3 times a week to do some simple food prep. There are brands here at Harris Teeter that I recommend that are clean, that I can eat. Remember, my body is like a preservative detector. So if I can eat it, I know it's super clean and I recommend it to my clients. And we have some of the brands at our little island natural market that I can recommend. It is possible to live in South Georgia, y'all, and eat clean, and you're going to love the flavor of food. It only takes 7 days. All right, I want to just wrap this up by saying thank you for listening to my story. Remember, if I can change, you can change. The most important thing that I can say to you, there is a God, and He loves you, and He loves me, and we can trust Him to take care of us. I recommend, if you're trying to get healthy, if you're trying to get sober, if you're trying to work on your marriage, if you're trying to get out of debt, if you're trying to follow your dream like I am with this podcast, ask God in the mornings for His help and His guidance. Ask Him to help you make the right choices, and He will. And remember, we just do life one day at a time. Remember, we always have hope. If we are still breathing, there's hope. And let's have a little joy and a little clean food and just do today. God bless.